I'm not hungry. You eat my son. In a world that measures a man's worth by the thickness of his wallet and the fear in his enemies' eyes, Dante Moretti was a king. He ruled the city's underworld with an iron fist. But power, as he was about to discover, can be a very lonely thing. It takes a blind eye to see the truth, and a broken heart to heal another. We find him on a Thursday night, a man accustomed to getting what he wants when he wants it. But tonight, his patience is wearing thin. He'd been promised his favorite table and, more importantly, his favorite steak. A delay was an insult he wasn't prepared to tolerate. I don't care about a broken oven, Giuseppe. I care about results. The maitre d' scurries away, his face pale. This is the world Dante commands. A world of fear and obedience. But his attention was about to be drawn elsewhere, away from his own privilege, to a scene unfolding in the corner of the restaurant he'd never noticed before. A woman in her late 40s sits alone. Her name is Clara. She is plus size, wearing a simple, slightly faded floral dress that's been mended with care. Her hands are clasped tightly on the table. Across from her sits her son, Leo, a shy, serious boy of about 12, with eyes that hold a weight beyond his years. Their table has only one plate. On it is a beautiful, perfectly seared steak, with a small mountain of mashed potatoes and asparagus. A single lit candle flickers between them. Leo stares at the food, his stomach audibly rumbling, but he doesn't move. Clara smiles, a warm, loving smile that doesn't quite reach her tired eyes. Go on, sweetheart. Eat while it's hot. It's your birthday, you need to eat. But Mom, you should have some. You're always working so hard. You need your strength too. The boy, with a wisdom that only comes from a life of hardship, offered a piece of his steak to his mother, holding it out on the prongs of his fork. Clara softly pushes his hand back. She pats her stomach and smiles a little too brightly. Sweetie, my stomach isn't feeling so great tonight. I think it was that cabbage soup from last night. It's just sitting there. It's making me feel a little bloated. No, I'm not hungry at all. You eat, my son. Eat. It makes me happy to see you eat a good meal. The lie was delivered with such maternal grace, such practiced ease, that anyone watching might have believed her. But Dante, a master of deception and a connoisseur of lies, saw through it instantly. Dante's expression changes. The coldness in his eyes flickers, replaced by a flicker of intrigue and recognition. He knows that kind of sacrifice. He signals to his waiter and whispers something. The waiter nods, looking surprised, and hurries off toward the kitchen. What he saw in her wasn't just a mother saving a meal for her son. It was a woman who had spent her last dollar to give her child a moment of normalcy, a sliver of happiness in a life of struggle. He'd spent his whole life accumulating wealth, but he'd never known a love that made a person lie about being hungry to feed another. As Leo begins to eat, unable to resist any longer, Clara watches him. Her hand rests on her own empty stomach, her throat bobbing as she swallows, suppressing her own hunger. She's lost in thought, watching her son with such profound adoration that it seems to eclipse her own misery. She doesn't see the waiter approach. The waiter places a small basket of warm, crusty bread and a bowl of rich, creamy butter on her table. Compliments of the gentleman in the corner booth, madam. Clara looks up, startled. She sees Dante, but he simply raises his glass of wine in a silent toast. She is confused, slightly flustered. She offers a hesitant, grateful smile. Dante doesn't smile back. He just watches, a deep frown etched on his face. He wasn't trying to be generous. He was trying to solve a puzzle. How could a woman so poor have such a wealth of spirit? How could a man so rich be so empty? At that moment, the maitre d' came back. His face was ashen. Mr. Moretti, I am so terribly sorry. The chef was able to salvage the steak, but the other order is... Dante holds up a hand, silencing him. He stands up and walks toward Clara's table. The entire restaurant seems to hold its breath. The powerful Mafia boss, a man who could ruin lives with a snap of his fingers, was walking toward a poor woman in a faded dress. As he reaches the table, Leo looks up, his fork halfway to his mouth, his eyes wide with a mix of fear and curiosity. Clara stands up, a little afraid. Sir, thank you for the bread. That was very kind of you. It wasn't kindness, Signora. It was just curiosity. Why did you lie to your son? Clara is struck silent. She looks at the expensive Italian shoes, the crisp suit. She lowers her head. Because a mother would rather her son believe the world is a place where his hunger is the only one that matters. Because I have no money to pay for this meal. That $48 was every penny I had left until next week. He doesn't know that. He doesn't need to know that. For one night, he gets to feel like he has everything. Dante felt something he hadn't felt in decades. A crack in the armor of ice around his heart. He looked at the boy, then back at the woman. Sit down, please. He pulls out a chair and sits down, completely uninvited. He's breaking every code of his own existence. He reaches into his jacket and pulls out a heavy, worn leather wallet. He pulls out a wad of $100 bills, thick enough to choke a horse. He slaps it onto the table. The sound is a sharp crack in the quiet restaurant. This is the cost of a real dinner. The cost of a full belly and a warm heart. Leo's eyes go wide. Clara's face flushes with a mix of shame and anger.
No.
I'm not a charity case, sir. Dante leans forward, his eyes locked on hers. The arrogance is gone, replaced by a strange, intense sincerity. I know you're not. That's precisely why I'm giving it to you. You see, I used to think power was about taking. Taking money, taking respect, taking lives. I sat over there, ready to destroy a man for making me wait 30 minutes for a steak. But I've been waiting my whole life to see something real. And you just showed me what real wealth looks like. It's not this. It's what you're doing right now. You are willing to lie, to starve, to make sure your son felt valued. That's a power. Clara stares at him, her eyes glistening. Leo speaks up, his voice small but brave. Sir, why are you being so nice to us? Dante turns to the boy, and for the first time, a genuine, gentle smile touches his lips. Because a long time ago, I had a mother who used to do the same thing. And I was too selfish to understand it. I was angry at the world for being poor, and I let that anger eat me alive. Your mother is making sure that doesn't happen to you. That is something worth honoring. Dante stands up, buttoning his jacket. He looks down at the pile of money, then back at Clara. For the record, Signora, you are wrong about one thing. You are a charity case. A charity case for the soul. Use this for his school, for his clothes, for 100 more birthday dinners. But promise me one thing.
What?
Next time you come here to celebrate, you order your own steak. And you eat it. Together. He didn't wait for an answer. He turned and walked away, leaving the stunned mother and son at their table. As he passed the maitre d', he didn't even look at him. Mr. Moretti, your steak is ready, sir. Dante stops, looks back at the woman, who is now crying, holding the money in her hands, as Leo hugs her tightly. He turns to the maitre d', a new, unfamiliar warmth in his voice. I'm not hungry, Giuseppe. You eat it, or give it to the staff. I'll have a coffee. Black. And Giuseppe? Yes, sir. Whatever table they want, whenever they want it, they're on my tab. For life. The Mafia boss didn't just give a poor widow a stack of cash. He gave her dignity. But the real gift? It wasn't for her. She had it all along. It was for him. Because in that moment, a man who had forgotten how to feel remembered that the most powerful thing in the world isn't a gun, or a dollar, or fear. It's love. And the quietest acts of sacrifice are often the ones that echo the loudest. True wealth is not measured by what you have, but by what you are willing to give.